Hey guys, this is Heri from Týr. Recently I came back from the USA where we were at the 70,000 tons of metal cruise that goes from Miami and this year went to Haiti and back. This was the fourth time we played there, and this time I ran into an old friend of mine, Thomas Kasser, who is now one of two CEOs of the record company Napalm Records. I took the opportunity and had a chat with him about the state of the music business, with particular emphasis on how new bands should go about making a career for themselves. This interview was shot on two camera angles, but towards the end one of the cameras, well, the iPhones actually, runs out of power, and you can hear my girlfriend in the background who's holding one of the iPhones commenting on that. I was not terribly well prepared for this interview, so it is a bit chaotic. I hope you get something out of it. Here we go. Hey man.
Hey, how are you?
We had an appointment like 10 minutes ago.
3.5 seconds ago.
7 minutes ago at least, that's for you.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
Cheers. Water. I'm sorry to disappoint you. This man is called Thomas Kasser, and I think we're old friends of a sort.
Well, yeah, hopefully.
What do you do?
What do you mean what I do? I sit
What's
here
your
now.
job? What's your job description, you idiot?
I'm the... Let me get this over. I'm the CEO of Napalm Records.
You are the CEO. Is there
one
not
of
yes,
the CEOs.
you own half of it.
I wouldn't say own, but I'm responsible for at least half of it.
That's a good thing. So we got to know each other when you signed Týr in 2003.
Was it 2003?
Was it? I think it was. You re-released Eric the Red. That was the first thing you did.
Yeah.
And that was 2003.
Okay.
Or was it 6?
It might have been 4.
Might have been 4.
But it's well over 15 years ago.
It is.
Or well over 10 years ago.
How time slugs away. Why did you sign my band?
Because, we didn't want to, take on anything good or something. No, because I thought, Eric the Red had something really very unique. It was like, the minute I listened to it, I got caught in this world, where I could see, just excuse me if this is a little too cheesy. I could see Vikings, I could see.
I remember we had a long discussion about putting horns. We made new artwork for it, for example,
yeah,
and there were
horns
horns on the.
Were there, but that was just
the
the draft
Vikings.
because we knew that they're.
Did we take them off? I remember we had a heated discussion about it, at least.
At least Max, my partner, he
Yeah.
knew that there were, because he's a huge Viking fan.
Yeah.
So he definitely knew that there were no horns in the
Good,
Viking
good.
helmets.
I actually don't remember how it looks at the moment. I think there are horns on the cover.
And no, Eric the Red was, at first I don't remember the cover. It was like some white bluish.
It's like it's like these
It's
two
an artwork,
statues.
Yeah, but now it's the statues.
Yeah.
It was
That,
a little
that's
bit
the
taken
horns
off.
I'm talking about.
Really, there were horns there. But the
It's
statues didn't
like
resemble the Vikings. It was-
taken out of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, taken out of the
Yeah.
Vikings. But yeah, it was very unique. And the first song I know, I don't know if I pronounced it right, it was Sinclair's Visa.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the best song ever for me.
It's on
back
land
then.
actually. It's on the next album again.
Yeah, but no. Wait.
Sinclair's Voice is on land.
Yeah, what was the song I talked about? The
Raismere.
Yeah, Raismere. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
The video was taken from a Polish Viking happening.
Yeah, that's Raismere.
That's the song I mean.
Cool,
Sorry.
cool.
But that caught my attention, and the minute I listened to this song, I was hooked. I played it to a few of my, producer friends. Everyone was like, "What is this? I've never heard something like this."
Yeah.
And I was like, "That's exactly why I want to work with this band."
I'd been sending emails and CDs to I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say 250 producers, record labels, studios, everything I could get my hands on over the internet. I sent them follow-up emails and everything, and I caught the attention of one guy in Denmark at Instrumental Management. His name is
Lars?
No. He knew you, and that's how I got in contact. No, I didn't even get in contact with you. He forwarded the stuff to you because he couldn't find anyone else to help him with it at the Instrumental Management. Klaus Joensen.
Oh, it was Klaus. Yeah, he
Yeah.
was the founder of the company.
Yeah. He came to listen to us at in our rehearsal room,
He liked it, but he didn't want to do it alone because he didn't have the time. So he tried to get someone else to help him with it, but he couldn't find anyone. He just passed it on to you, and that's how we got in contact with you. I'm always wondering. I spent like 2 years, maybe 1.5 years, just writing to everybody. Was that completely wasted time or not? Is that the way to do it?
I never got an email from you.
I'm not sure why I didn't find you.
But it was, we don't have to forget, it was the time where you actually mailed physical CDs to the labels.
Yes, I did
And
that.
you had to either, write another letter or
Yes.
make a phone call.
Yeah. Oh, I never did phone calls.
Yeah. And emails were, at that time, but you're talking because Eric the Red was recorded earlier, way earlier than we put it out.
Yes, 3 years, I think.
Yeah, so that was the time when we didn't even have an A&R staff at Neighbor Records. So it was just the owner.
Weren't you the A&R guy?
No, I was the A&R guy way later. I started at the company in 2002 as a PR assistant, promotion assistant, and I wasn't A&R until like 2004. So I remember, when we talked about Týr in the company, I had to go to the owner.
I see.
Like, telling I want to sign this band. How do we do it?
I see.
So that was it was very early, and it was. I couldn't imagine that someone didn't want. I mean, I could see that because it was a time where labels were they were very, very selective with everything, and something new like this, there was no band out there playing something like this, and it was way before, or it was at the verge of when everything with the the Viking metal and the folk metal stuff genre started.
Yeah.
So it was early, and I think that's why a lot of labels were a little afraid of that.
Yeah.
Plus, you were under contract with Tutu.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty unbinding.
Yeah,
but we were there. Yeah.
And they kept the rights for the Faroes and Iceland.
Yeah. Which almost bankrupted you. No, that was like the start of when the internet became important for musicians. I remember it was pretty groundbreaking. I felt at least I was finding all this information on the internet. It was the first real internet task I can believe it. I had was like finding labels, record labels, and people on the internet. And then there was MySpace where you can put your music. And MySpace is now a howling wilderness.
It's gone to Google Plus went where MySpace is now.
Yes, exactly. No, there's really only Facebook. That's the place for musicians. I think it's by far the biggest part
and
of.
Instagram is coming.
It's coming, but Facebook owns it,
Yeah.
and I think they're merging more and more. It's more and more the same thing. Instagram is like a part of Facebook. It's going to end up like that, I think. But things really changed in the meantime. I mean, we sold CDs back then. Did you make LPs already then?
No.
LPs were already gone.
I remember that we licensed to some specialists. I think the first 2 Týr albums, we licensed to some specialists. But there was no one, because even vinyl players, if you had one, from your parents or your grandparents, cool, but no one really thought about that because there was because everything was so CD focused still.
Yeah.
CDs, there was permanent download, but there was obviously no streaming.
Yeah.
And still, download was something like if you had like an iPhone or there was no iPhone back then.
Not back then. No.
What was it called?
iPod. An iPod,
Yeah,
exactly.
Really early iPods.
Yeah. Oh, I remember.
Yeah.
I remember.
So you had to buy everything and put it on that thing.
Yes,
or
yes.
just buy another MP3 player. And
Yeah.
it wasn't really cool. I mean, it's like.
It was okay. I remember I was wearing down 2 or 3 iPods.
But there was no artwork. It was nothing interesting. It was like
no,
you
very
had to
few
carry
albums had the
your
artwork
cell phone
on it.
and your
Yes,
iPod or
yes,
your
yes.
MP3 player.
The iPhone was definitely a progress from that. But nowadays the internet is everything. I mean, what I thought it wasn't. Looking back, it wasn't that difficult to get signed, especially with Tot. You just had to make quality music, and then getting in contact with you. There was some work, but it was not. It didn't feel impossible at any point. But today, how do bands do it?
It's like there's so much music out there, and the problem is that every band can start their own. Obviously their own social media. Obviously, everyone can record at home nowadays. even back then, even 15 years ago, you had to go in a proper studio even to record some demos.
Yeah.
Now you can produce most of your album music, like you can do proper album recordings at home. You know,
Everything
just
except
with
for
the right
drums.
plugins,
Yeah.
everything except drums and
Yeah.
maybe vocals.
I recorded the vocals for the upcoming tour album myself.
Yeah, but that's so easy. And
It's not that easy. It requires some know-how.
But you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah.
Instead of preparing,
Yeah.
buying 3 days in the studio,
Yeah.
very expensive, very difficult process, and then you have the music, you have to ship it to the record
Yeah,
labels. Now
yeah.
you can just put it on SoundCloud and send an email to whoever wants it or doesn't want it. You don't have to you don't have to leave your house to record an album
Yeah.
or record music. And there is, to me it seems like everyone can just hold a guitar or hold drumsticks or hold a bass, wants to be a star, wants to be a musician, wants to record music.
So after you have all that, after you record your own music, you're good on social media, that's obviously not enough. That's not going to make a sign anyone.
Nowadays, I'm just looking for something, new and some spark in the band. There's something going on around them. People are interested in them. They make good music.
Is it important for you that you like it yourself?
Not so much, because I have developed a sense of what is good, even in genres that I don't like.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just always a matter of opinion.
Yeah.
So I can tell if a musicianship is good or the band plays well together if I see them live. But other than that, I don't limit myself by just signing what I like.
Yeah.
Because I want to get good music out to people. But if it's something I like, even better.
Yeah. So there's musicianship, obviously. How about songwriting skills? I mean,
it's difficult. To me, a good song is a good song, and not many people are capable of writing good songs. But there's music that you want to listen to, even if it's not the best songs in the world.
Yes. There could be a cool style of music where bands, I think, that just repeat what other bands have done. It's okay, it's doable, but it's nothing groundbreaking, and it's not a big skill to copy other bands.
And the thing is, nowadays there's producers or like real producers out there that help you with songwriting that are more affordable than ever. You could go ahead and get a writing session with really popular songwriters. Help you with that.
Yeah.
That wasn't possible before the internet age.
It was done earlier in an American like pop rock. I remember, for example, Bon Jovi. I was a big Bon Jovi fan, and they had this Desmond Child, who was a producer-songwriter and did all the songs. You could hear all the albums he did. Yeah. They had all the same kind of song styles. So he was not just a producer. He was like an active songwriter, and that was in the 80s already in American. Like super.
But you wouldn't be able to afford him back then.
No, obviously not. I just mean they did it before.
Yes, of course.
But now it's affordable.
Now it's affordable. Like studios, when I started out, with my band, I was dreaming about getting mastered.
You have a band?
I did.
Visions of Atlantis.
I dreamed about getting my album mastered at Finnvox Studios.
Yeah.
It was really expensive back then.
Yeah.
And really complicated because they were just doing the top-notch stuff in metal. And nowadays it's just like an email, a phone call away. Even for small bands, they basically do everything for money. So it's like there's a.
Is it maybe the fact that there's just less and less money in music business because of download and streaming?
That's true, and because there's so much. Like I said, that's where my point was. Because there's so much noise, general noise. Because everyone records, everyone has a band.
Yeah.
Assumingly, and I suppose it's just because the internet brings everything together.
Yeah.
So it feels like there's more artists, more bands out there than ever, and there's like ground noise where you can not really distinct what is good, what is not good.
Yeah.
And you have to stick out of that. So it's become difficult. In the times of everyone can set up like an account with Spotify.
Yeah.
Everyone can get distribution.
Yeah.
And obviously there's still money, but it's not like back in the old days where the only way to obtain music was vinyl, cassettes.
Yes, and is the reason for that the internet?
Sure.
Yeah.
And the ultimate reason is that major labels didn't think ahead. There was the internet, and they didn't think the next step. So.
Yeah.
On a big level, they should have known. They should have.
That's true. That's true. They tried to stick with the CD for too long, and they didn't prepare for the.
Even with vinyl.
But you see the same thing nowadays. YouTube didn't really plan, and now they're getting fines, in the billions from I don't know, France or whoever fined them so and so much for not paying licensing, and in March the European Parliament is going to sign a law that requires YouTube to pay the owners of the music, no matter who puts it up on YouTube. They have to pay them a part of the ads income. So same thing happening again with YouTube. So it's a very common mistake, it appears. What are you looking at?
Nothing.
Anyway.
It's always, and that's the problem, they're not thinking ahead. It's always some new tech company coming, doing the next thing. And everyone's really behind with all the laws, all the music copyright laws.
Yeah.
Everyone's like freaking out. All the artists are freaking out. Publishers are freaking out. What happens with our rights? It's like it's uncontrollable at some point. And it's a little like
it looks like it's slowly getting under control though now.
No, what I was saying is like when Napster came up.
Yeah.
No one knew what that thing is, and actually it would have been the job of the major labels to come up with something like this.
Yes.
The internet was already there.
Yes.
But they did never make use of that.
Yeah.
And that was the problem, And since then, everything's behind with the music industry. And no one came up with, something like streaming or YouTube.
Yeah.
Online TV. I mean, it's because everyone was afraid the big, bucket of gold is going to go away or it's going to get smaller. And mostly for the major labels, because the independent label, you always, we're always close to the artist. You're always kind of struggling, because there's no much media behind it. Mainstream is not behind it, and you're always in danger to disappear into the void if you don't do your things right.
Yeah. That's that. Well, the internet. I mean, I think I'm decently good at it. I'm trying to be as active as possible on Facebook. I guess that's what it's about. The people feel they have direct access to whoever they want through Facebook or Instagram or whatever.
That's good.
And then.
I mean, there's not only downsides. There's positive things about.
I think there's upsides.
Music industries as well. Like, take example, if you're an artist, you don't rely on just the record sales anymore. You can promote yourself. You can make direct contact with the fans, which is saving you a lot of money because you know who to reach, how to reach.
But for example, now we made 8 albums, 9 if you count my solo album, and I'm still struggling to pay the bills. What have I done wrong?
I don't know.
Well, actually, you were in charge of our first few albums. Maybe you did something wrong.
Well, just take a look at your royalty checks.
It doesn't pay my bills.
Then you spend too much now.
No, it's
like
there's expensive stuff in running a band also.
I mean, it's still, never forget, it's like it's still a very niche product. It's not at a point where you can compare this with Five Finger Death Punch or Disturbed or things like that.
I know what you mean. But this Viking thing has sort of been there since before we started, I think, and it's just getting bigger and bigger. And I'm not sure I'm in the right position to see the big picture, but I see more and more festivals, more and more sold out shows, more and more people at these festivals, and to me it looks like everything is still pointing in the right direction, and
that's the thing. Shows and festivals, it's growing, while record sales, typical like traditional record sales, go down. Streaming goes up.
Yeah.
So it shifts a little bit.
Yeah. Well, our record sales have actually gone up for each album, all the way until the last one at least. I'm excited to see how this one does.
When was the last one released? What year?
2013.
Was it 13?
Yeah.
Okay.
6 years ago.
Then you're gonna see a difference probably. I mean, I haven't heard the album. I can say maybe it's the big explosion.
I wrote it partly, so.
But it's usually it's just sales go down a little bit. Volume increases because you get more streaming. You get more deluxe editions or vinyl sales. CD sales will go a little bit down because there's even outlets are disappearing. Best Buy. HMV has huge problems now. They went bankrupt and trying to find a new investor, and it's not. There needs to be the industry needs to come up with new ways, which we did at Napalm Records.
Yeah.
But,
The one thing I want to mention earlier is Kota, the publishing company that we use in Denmark, recently got a direct deal with YouTube. It's a very bad deal as I understand it, but at least it is a deal that they can work on improving over time. So I didn't see it on my statements yet, but I'm excited to see how much that does, for example. So it feels like they're slowly, getting a handle on the internet situation.
yeah, I mean, it's those things are very slow and usually at least half a year to 1 year behind.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, you're going to stay in this business for some time, and
hopefully.
how much time did we do this now? 20 minutes, I think.
Are you cutting it?
What?
Or is it?
No, we're going to do this as live as possible.
Oh shit.
So I prefer not to cut it. Anyway, I had this thing for you from me and my girlfriend. We got you something in the Faroes.
That's the stuff I love.
We thought your style had gone to shit, so we better help you a bit
It's
with
my
that.
favorite team.
J&K Peterson?
No. It's Bay. How do you? I forgot. Bay.
Besextredwa.
Sexford. Yeah. I tried to play for this club once.
Yes? You were going to be a professional soccer
you.
player. You're welcome.
I even was. They agreed to a contract for me.
Yeah.
Are they gonna see this?
They
Should
might.
I stop
they
lying?
Might. No. You tell the truth.
No, actually, it was 2009, and it was actually a quite small team back. I mean, they didn't have many players, and the coach came to me. It's like, are you gonna get how long are you staying? Are you gonna get your visa? Because we're not many, and we're going to the EuroLeague qualifiers.
Yeah.
You're a quick player. We could use you on our team, but I didn't get it. Now I'm
Unfortunately.
part of the team now.
Cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome, man. Good. So I'll let you go. And
Where should I go now?
You had a dinner deal,
Oh, yeah.
dinner
That's
appointment. So far
half
as I
an hour.
remember, half an hour. You can chat a bit more if you have a subject you'd like to talk about.
My mobile account.
Yeah. No, we'll do it from my
Well,
camera.
if you have any questions, is that Thomas Dan?
Thomas Dan, yes. Uitrotter. Sport.
Sport.
Yeah. Well,
Tell him I said hi.
I don't know him, but
He wouldn't want to ship it to me.
I said it was for my son. So
And they were like, oh, that's why it's so small.
if you mention Austria to Faroese football players, they start laughing, and it's
They
hard.
did.
It's hard to make them serious
my
again.
My first tryout was a week after Austrian national team went to the Faroes and drew 1-1.
Shit.
Yeah, and the coach introduced me in Faroes, and everyone laughed, except the Brazilian guy, because I think he didn't understand.
What is everyone laughing about? So the thing is, the first Faroese football match, international FIFA football match, was against Austria, and we beat them 1-0 in Sweden. That was a big day in the Faroes.
That was a huge day for us too. They're
Yeah,
still
I believe it
talking
was.
about
No, actually, this interview was going to be about. I wanted to get some information for new upcoming bands, how they should go about.
Just one thing about football.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, I played 2 games for B36.
Yeah.
And the second game, my father was present, and I don't remember which game it was, but next to him stood the goalkeeper from that,
Jens Martin Knudsen.
Yeah, he was standing right next to my dad.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, he stood next to me. He's wearing his hat.
He was a legend.
Yeah.
I think he still is.
Yeah, but that's all from the subject, football subject.
Football is not my thing, but sports is always kind of interesting.
So what was with the new bands?
So what I wanted to get to in this interview is really how should new bands go about making a career for themselves? What's the important thing for them to focus on?
They should focus not just on music, get a big picture. What is the band about? Get a real concept for the band. Just playing your instrument well and having decent songs or good songs is not good enough. You need to stick out from all the noise. Because there's.
So it's like the bottom level has risen a bit, and you sort of have to beat that.
There's many good bands out there.
Yeah.
But I get bored of just like bands not having a concept. It's not about lyrical concept or something. It's just the band needs to, from band name to outfits to pictures to the whole the way that they market themselves, the corporate design. It needs to be somewhat creative and has a concept, you know.
It's not necessarily the songwriters or instrument virtuosos area to deal with stuff like that. So they made themselves in their own little like music and instrument worlds think this is perfect, and then you know outwards to look at it's nothing.
But when I ask you as an artist, what is your music or what is your music, your band about? You know, what is it? What do you want to say? You know, what is it? And I hear, you know, I just want to play shows. I just want to make music. That's not enough nowadays.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what because I mean, there's extremely talented musicians out there. I mean, we have one band. Their name is Alien Weaponry. You know, they're from New Zealand.
Alien Weaponry.
Yeah, and they use you know, their native language, so to say.
Maori?
Maori, yeah.
Oh, cool, cool.
And they're making
that
really
immediately makes me think I should check that out.
The videos are cool. You know, they're I mean, they will hate me. They're like between 17 and 19 now, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know by heart, but they're, you know, they're tight as a musicians.
Yeah.
They have their concept. Everything's perfect, and it came from them. You know, it's like we didn't have to do much about it. We just made sure that every button was pushed right, and
so I guess it was pretty important for us to begin with that. We were from the Faroes.
that was the thing for me. You know, I always thought, you know, the Nordics were really cool, and the Faroes, you know, it was just like the mystic place, you know, with no trees and.
Everybody says that.
Yeah, but it's I was there. It was and you know, the wild ocean, and it was just like very romantic settings, and it was just like you want to be there, you know. And I think that a lot of creativity from you guys, and from you especially, comes because you're from there, you know.
It's hard to say for me, of course, but a lot of people say that. So I guess there's something
is amazing,
about it.
you know. Everyone told me they're not singing in English, and that's the cool thing, you know.
Did you learn Faroese while you were there?
No, I was going to, but I didn't have the time.
You can still learn it.
Yeah,
I'll teach you.
Thank you.
Skål.
Yeah, well, that's easy.
Skål for helvete.
For helvete. You told me that already.
Yes, I did.
I don't remember what it means.
Shit. It means for. You can't translate it.
The coach always said, "Arbeid
Arbeid
Yeah, work hard.
Work hard.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's what he always said.
Yeah, you have to. Good. I think we covered everything we should cover here.
Hey, if there's anything else, I'm still here for another 3 days.
Yes, you are. We'll book this spot again. Very nice talking to you.
Thank
and
you.
nice meeting you. And
nice meeting you. We met the first time.
Nice meeting you again.
Okay.
Motherfucker, I'm gonna turn this shit off. Delete.
So that's that interview. I hope there's some information in there that you could use. I guess the main thing I took away from this is that there is not, as I thought before, less money in the music industry now than there used to be. There is more money, only there's easier access to it. So there's more people competing for a bigger amount of money, and you have to stand out from the crowd to a larger degree than you necessarily had to before. Other than that, I want to thank my patrons. Unfortunately, I don't have your names in front of me. I want to thank each and every one of you. If you want to support my creation here on YouTube, go to patreon.com/Heri Joensen and take a look at how it works. Until next week, cheers.